Hello, good evening, and welcome to Prime Business. My name is Emma Davis. But we would have to cross to GJA's annual dinner dance, where the president of GJA is currently having a speech.
And Hannah to have His Excellency the President of the Republic join us for the second time at the splendid event. But for circumstances beyond his control, he could not make it. However, we are very grateful for his support and willingness to avail himself whenever we call on him. The objective of the GJA dinner night is to facilitate association members and journalists in establishing connections and socializing with their professional peers, individuals from the public, business partners, representatives from the public and private sectors, and members of the diplomatic corps. Following a year filled with challenging tasks, the dinner night provides us with an opportunity to socialize with our colleagues and indulge in a pleasant dining experience. Additionally, it allows for casual discussions and the sharing of views on many subjects. As development partners, we convene at important gatherings like this to share ideas and present suggestions, aiming to commence the new year with fresh inspiration. The truth is that the Ghanaian journalists have traversed many challenges in line of duties, but through all these challenges, the good Lord has been so gracious to us by making it possible for us to gather, network, wine, and dine. We express our gratitude to Corporate Ghana for its substantial assistance during the year. We want to single out GCB Bank PLC for being the lead sponsor for the 27th GJA Awards, and KGL Group, led by a very good friend, Mr. Alex Dade, for accepting to be the lead sponsor for the second GJA annual dinner night, which we are experiencing today. Can we give it to them? And they were the lead sponsor for the maiden edition, which was last year. That's Mr. Alex Dade, we are grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, by God's grace, the GJA recorded some major achievements, and notable among them is the right to host the third African Media Convention, scheduled to take place here in Accra in May 2024. Just yesterday, the Minister of Information, GJA Nkrumah, inaugurated the local organizing committee with myself and the Deputy Minister of Information, Honorable Fatima Abubakar, as co-chairpersons. The genesis of Ghana hosting the AMC all began in Lusaka, Zambia. It is essential to mention that the successful bid of the GJA to host the next convention was announced during the second African Media Convention, which was held in Lusaka, Zambia, from 11th to 13th May 2023, of which a 5-member delegation from the GJA and UNESCO attended. The convention brings together media experts, scholars, students, journalists, student unions and association, journalist union and association, editors, public and private sector, including cooperative partners from around the African continent and beyond, as well as representatives from UNESCO and the African Union Commission. It is a moment of reflection by African media stakeholders on the revolving trends that impede freedom of expression and freedom of the media viability and sustainability, as well as the safety and security of journalists. Honorable Minister, the convention, as we all know, will comprise 600 international delegates and 400 local delegates, drawn from the African Union Commission, government, media and network associations, civil society, the diplomatic corps, NGOs, researchers, and academia, and bilateral and international development partners, including the UN agencies. I want to emphasize that Ghana's successful bid was made possible due to the substantial support from the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and the Ministry of Information under the leadership of Honorable Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah. Can we give it to them? Capacity building in welfare. Honorable Minister, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this administration has initiated several capacity building initiatives for the development of the media and journalists in the country. The 2023 edition of Ghana's Media Capacity Enhancement Program, MCEP, commenced this Monday. The program is aimed at equipping journalists with essential skills and knowledge so they can perform at their optimal best. The GJA is grateful to the government through the Ministry of Information for supporting this initiative, which we believe will go a long way to boost the capacities of journalists. Ladies and gentlemen, even though Ghanaian journalists play a significant role in the development of the country, their conditions of service are nothing to write home. This is not limited to private media houses alone. Journalists in state-owned media also suffer a similar fate. We believe that journalists whose work is seen as representing the fourth estate of government deserve better remuneration. In marking World Day for Decent Work, WDDW, on 7th October last year, the International Federation of Journalists, IFJ, the world's largest organization of journalists, joined the International Trade Union Confederation to call for wage justice. The IFJ demanded that media organizations restore decent wages in journalism. IFJ noted that today's world of skyrocketing inflation, inflation rates has severely impacted journalists' incomes. In some parts of the world, which includes Ghana, journalists even struggle to receive their monthly pay. Some of them having to rely on brown envelopes, which they call solely, to make a living, thus jeopardizing media independence and freedom. The issue of working conditions of journalists must be taken seriously, as it has the tendency of affecting the performance of journalists in this country. And I will call on the Honorable Minister of Information to lead this charge. Stakeholders must pay attention to the low level of remuneration of journalists across the country. It must be emphasized that the performance of journalists is tied to their well-being and conditions of service. The naked truth is that most media houses and individual journalists are financially handicapped to meet their critical training or self-development needs. The International Federation of Journalists, IFJ, once again reminds us succinctly that there can be no press freedom if journalists live in conditions of poverty, fear, and corruption. The casual nexus between flip-flop poverty and below-par performance in certain media circles underlines the need to address the salary issue of journalists and condition of service of journalists with urgent promptitude. Even the state of the Ghanaian Media Report 2023 corroborates this position and also expresses concerns about the poor conditions of service for journalists. Ladies and gentlemen, this administration of the GJA marks the dawn of a new era. This is an era that offers hope and promises genuine solidarity with all journalists in Ghana. The welfare and safety of journalists will continue to be the topmost agenda of this administration. We are of the view that government must lead the way for the private sector to follow. And that is why, once again, I call on the Ministry of Information under the leadership of Honorable Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah to lead this charge. Journalists in the public space must enjoy better working conditions, and this will trickle down to the private sector. Attacks on journalists. In recent times, attacks on journalists and media houses have dominated national discourse. As I said during my speech at the 27th GJA Awards, we shall fight back fiercely against such attacks. And in doing so, we shall deploy our strongest weapons, including, but not limited, to taking legal action, laying down our pens and microphones, and calling for blackout on bodies, i.e. corporate and individuals that attack media practitioners or institutions. And that will happen in 2024. We urge the three organs of the state and other institutions that have the interests of the country's democracy and security at heart to help address the impunity against the media. Whilst condemning attacks against the media, I must hasten to admonish media practitioners and institutions to be very professional in the discharge of their duties. The GJA does not and will not condone unprofessional conduct. Once again, the GJA does not and will not condone unprofessional conduct. We will not shield or provide cover for defiance of professionalism. We will soon roll out a monitoring mechanism based on which we shall call out media practitioners and institutions that lower the bar of professionalism. We will set up a media monitoring team come 2024. For that purpose, this will let sanity prevail in the media space. I would like to state that the GJA Ethics and Disciplinary Council is deliberating on a petition submitted by the Chief of the Defense Staff against the media house, and we believe the right thing will be done. This shows that we are ready to be fair to everybody and not only to protect the interest of journalists. 2024 elections. Ladies and gentlemen, next year is an election year, which is a crucial moment for the country. And the role of the media in maintaining the peace and tranquility we are currently enjoying cannot be overemphasized. It is said that a well-trained and well-prepared journalist can never be important than when a country owes an election. Elections challenge democratic institutions, but resilient democratic institutions rise up to the challenge. In that regard, the Ghana Journalists Association, under the legacy regime, which is the current administration, has launched a program to ensure maximum professionalism in the work of the media towards election 2024. The GJA US Embassy Ghana Elections 2024 project is dubbed Journalists for Peaceful Discourse. It is to promote professionalism by empowering the media and related entities to contribute towards a violence-free and credible polls next year. The project, which also aims at promoting peaceful journalistic media platforms ahead of election 2024, is a collaboration between the association and the U.S. Embassy in Accra to fight misinformation and disinformation and also support high-quality public information related to the elections. The 12-month project is offering journalists the opportunity to exchange knowledge and an environment conducive for free speech and strengthening of strong electoral and democratic institutions. As I bring my remarks to a close, permit me to mention another issue which is of utmost concern, thus the centralization of information. Journalists in the districts and regions are often referred to Accra when they go for information from many private service organizations. Ghana's decentralization program, aimed at promoting development and democracy at the grassroots level, will fail if information is so centralized. We believe the Information Ministry will help address this issue urgently. Acknowledgement to sponsors. At this stage, let me express our immense gratitude to once again to the KGL Group, lead sponsors for this very event, Door Event and Beauty Complex, the Church of Pentecost International, GRA, grow production, and the government of Ghana. I do so by once again acknowledging the support from the office of the president. Even though it's not here, we have just received his support, and I must make it public. We would like to thank all journalists for their contribution to the advancement of our country. As I conclude my remarks, I want to emphasize that we will continue our vigilant role as the fourth estate by advocating for accountability in the best interest of the general public. This objective will be achieved through the practice of ethical journalism, which is founded on verifiable facts, objective truths, thorough investigation, and impartial critique. My sincere gratitude to all our partners and stakeholders for their support of the association. We expect a more fruitful collaboration in the future. Now, our assurance or commitment to the citizens of Ghana. Although next year, 2024, is pregnant with elections-related activities, the hosting of the African Media Convention, and the 75th celebration of the Ghana Journalists Association, I want to assure the nation that we shall sail through as a nation, as a state, and the media will lead the charge to ensure a peaceful and a prosperous 2024. Honorable Minister, on behalf of my national executives and on my own behalf, I want to wish everyone here a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Let's all celebrate this Yuletide season with caution, because we need everyone to be here to start the new year. Long live GJA, long live Ghana. Thank you all.
We're grateful to the president of the GJA, Mr. Albert Kwabena Jomfo, for the massive assurance that all members will be on board as we look forward to executing what will be a world-class presidential and parliamentary election here in Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, shall we appreciate him with a big round of applause?
The head president of the Ghana Journalists Association's Albert Jomfo there. Now let's look at our story. World Bank Country Director Pierre Laporte has challenged claims of not doing enough to prevent Ghana from getting into debt distress. The country's development partners like the World Bank and IMF have come under serious criticism of failing to stop government from overborrowing, which pushed the country into its current economic crisis. But speaking on a yet-to-be-aired PM Express Business Edition, Mr. Laporte insists they advised government accordingly.
Is there?
The bank spoke out. The bank challenged.
I am
Ghana.
not a country director who goes out in cocktails and criticize government, or who goes out on the media and criticize government. What I have to say, I tell with the minister, in the boardrooms, with my staff, or privately. Yes, you are right. We were there all the time, pushing for things to happen earlier. They did not. So it's not that the World Bank wasn't there. And again, the World Bank doesn't decide for a country. We can come and tell you,
advise you,
we can advise you, we can encourage you, we can push you, but at the end of the day, it's a government's decision, not the World Bank. You know, like I say, we continue to give project funding because these are directly from us to the accounts that we control, pays the contractor. This is fine. But budget support, that's why we had the instrument. We had it on the table. Come, we will do a budget support for you, but you have to raise revenues, you have to look at certain other things, you have to do reforms in the energy sector, because over $1 billion every year is going to the energy sector. You have to improve collection. Now these things are okay, we've agreed. But the World Bank cannot take blame if governments don't do things.
Could we have used project support and budget support as an instrument to check government to ensure that they quickly come on track? Couldn't we have done that?
We did that. We had the money always on the table. You cannot bring projects to do budget support. Projects is for projects,
Separate, yeah.
and we don't stop. We only stop projects when government doesn't pay us INRs. But budget support, yes, we used it. We talked to the Minister of Finance many times about the budget support, but the conditions for us were not there. I mean, for World Bank and IMF, people talk of conditionality.
Yeah.
Actually, they are merely assurances for us to be repaid. What it is, it's if we manage funds of shareholders, all the countries, including Ghana. When we go and bring money for budget support to a country, we have to make sure that the economy is viable for us to be repaid, and we look after the interests of our shareholders. The reason why we can't do budget support is because we feel that the macroeconomic framework is not adequate, or that the actions that we see on the table don't give us confidence that it will bring a country to financial viability for us to be repaid. So we were there all the time. We were there all the time.
But still we end up in this challenge.
Yeah, because
Maybe the bank could have done better.
No, no, I do not agree. Because we did everything we did. The money was there. But we can only do something that is in line with our policies in Washington. I cannot decide, me and my vice president, we will still give Ghana $300 million in budget support, even though the conditions are not there. It will not even be approved by the board. And we had this dialogue for the 4.5 years I've been here. But again, for the reasons that Ghana leadership, finance ministry felt, they were not willing at the time to do these actions. And when it's not the case, we cannot do anything.
Outgoing World Bank Country Director Pierre Laporte speaking on PM Express Business Edition, which airs tonight at 9 p.m. on the Joy News channel. Do not miss it. And that's all for Prime Business with me, Emma Davis. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Have a good evening.